Hi, this is Nancy Yearout, and welcome to my show, High Road to Humanity. In every episode, I tell you powerful true stories filled with great wisdom that you can use in your own life as you strive for a higher road to travel. My featured guests will have their own unique stories to tell that enlighten your mind and your soul. So kick back, relax, and learn the secret to success when you take the high road.
First touch, strong connection, it lays deep in your soul.
Hi, this is Nancy Yearout, and welcome to High Road to Humanity. And I have a wonderful gentleman here today. Paul Denniston is here, and he's the founder of Grief Yoga. And if you're watching me on YouTube today, I'm holding his book up. It's very, very interesting. It's Healing Through Yoga, Transform Loss into Empowerment. And Paul, welcome to High Road to Humanity.
Thank you, Nancy, for having me.
I'm so happy you're here today. And I just want to real quick say that this is a really interesting thing. You know, this book, you guys, is, he says, grief is as old as time, and it can grip us in unexpected ways and places immediately during and long after the event that it caused. And anything can contribute. Now, check this out. Death, divorce, loss, addiction, a diagnosis, mental health challenges, to the crushing and overwhelming feelings we're experiencing all too acutely these days. So too often we treat grief with half solutions that only keep them at bay, not led to real healing and recovering. So this is a really interesting, I love this because you're healing people emotionally, and we don't talk about emotions. So I'm really excited that you're here on the high road today. Before I read his bio, because this is High Road to Humanity, I need to bring up, I was getting ready, I was doing my hair, and I saw come over my phone this. Kyle Rittenhouse trial verdict, live. Judge bans MSNBC from court after police arrest man photographing the jury. You know, I just want to say, come on, you guys, have a little bit of integrity here. It says jurors in the homicide trial of Kyle Rittenhouse began their third day of deliberation on Thursday morning in Kenosha, Wisconsin. So just before noon, police announced that the apprehension of a man who allegedly followed the jurors on a bus in an attempt to photograph them on Wednesday evening. The man allegedly claimed to be a producer with MSNBC, but police believe that was a lie. Judge Bruce Schroeder responding by barring MSNBC from the courthouse for the remainder of the trial. You know, I just want to say, you know, America's watching this, but, you know, people are just out of hand, and, you know, we need to get back to our values, you know, where we have a little bit of integrity and we respect each other and each other's privacy. And so I just wanted to bring that up this morning because I just feel like people have lost their, you know, the integrity that they're supposed to have. So having to add any comment on that, by the way.
Just to recognize how much everybody is struggling in their own way. And I think that, you know, we could use a little bit of compassion and kindness towards one another. Just to recognize that everyone is struggling in their own way. If we can just offer a little bit of kindness and compassion to ourselves and to others, I think that that would be a good step.
I agree with you. Kindness. I like that. Well, Paul Denniston is the founder of Grief Yoga, which uses yoga movement, breath, and sound to release the pain and suffering, to connect to empowerment and love. And I'm so excited that you wrote this. Paul, tell us your story. I read your story. I know that you grew up in Texas. I know that your father was a minister and your mom taught at a Christian school, and you held in your emotions. Tell the audience about this.
Well, Daddy being a Baptist minister, you know, we were always taught, my daddy was a Baptist minister in Sugar Land in Texas. So
I've been to Sugar Land. God bless your heart.
Bless your heart.
Bless your heart.
Well, I got to tell you, you know, growing up in a very Southern Baptist religious family, you know, we were always pretty much taught that, you know, it's best to be blessed and grateful. And those other feelings that can come up for us, you know, those universal feelings that we all go through, sadness, anger, those were judged. Those were felt like, you're not supposed to feel those. Maybe you're supposed to turn them over to God. And so what I would witness is I would witness how my father would suppress his anger, and then it would all of a sudden explode like a boiling teapot, and it would become like we would be frightened of it. He would be afraid of it. My mother would, she didn't attend her father's funeral and held deep regret about that for most of her life. And so I was taught to either suppress it or to avoid it. And what would happen for me is I would also have bursts of rage and anger. I would go into depression. And as I became older, I basically turned to sex, drugs, and rock and roll to try to numb the pain.
Yeah, I think a lot of us did that.
Yeah, I mean,
true.
So,
I mean, we all grew up in that time. You know what I mean? You're not the only one. I went to the Church of Christ. My dad taught Sunday school. So I think it's kind of the generation, not to interrupt your chain of thought there, but it feels like as you're speaking about this, it was kind of like a generational thing. Like they were taught not to express their emotions. So then in turn, they taught us the same thing. What do you think?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, especially emotions like anger or sadness, nobody's really taught how to do that. And I got to tell you, especially for a young man growing up in Texas too, feelings of sadness were also like a form of weakness or vulnerability. Right. Don't cry, go and do something about it. Or take, for instance, my sister, good girls aren't supposed to be angry. And I got to tell you some ways that this can affect us then too afterwards is I dedicated the book to my sister. My sister had a loving, kind spirit, but here's a picture of her. She also, she passed away from cancer because I could also see how much anger that she was suppressing and holding on to too. So I remember being in the hospital room with my sister in the final, days of her life, and we would do techniques and exercises that were all about moving the anger out, releasing it through. So yeah.
Yeah, I love this because I grew up kind of like you, so I get it. I understand. And what I feel like is you're releasing the energy is what you're doing by this process.
You're releasing it, but there's also something fascinating too about how I spent decades running away from it as it got suppressed. So as I started to become involved as a yoga teacher and a movement teacher, I thought, well, what if instead we used these things that we judge or suppress? What if we use them as fuel in empowering ways to channel and release it?
Right. Well, rewind a little bit. Go back. We got about 5 minutes before we go to break. You decided to take I love this story. It's because it's real. You decided to take a yoga class and tell the audience what happened on the first day of yoga. I mean, this is great because it's so real, man. And God bless this woman, by the way.
I got to tell you, I was just seeking anything to help me to find peace. I went into a yoga class because I thought, so many people are talking about how, it's a form of exercise that brings peace. And while I was doing it, I would find myself trembling and shaking because of everything that was suppressed within me. It was a place of being present, which I wasn't as used to because it was such a strong focus on breath. I was a lot of the times in the future or in the past. I was comparing myself to others. I was feeling like I should be doing this better. I was looking at the clock thinking to myself, should I make a break for it? Because I feel like I'm about to have an emotional breakdown here. And I remember the teacher coming up to me and there was a moment of kindness and compassion she offered. And she said, she goes, you can rest whenever you want to. Yeah. And in that moment of struggle, that sense of kindness and compassion literally knocked me to my knees. And there was a moment where I had a release that I was afraid of letting move through. But once I let it move through, it also I felt lighter
Felt
afterwards.
free. Yeah. Well, what I'm feeling is, you went in there and this was all pent up. And then when you started doing these movements, correct me if I'm wrong, and you did the breathing exercises, that's when it kind of came to the surface. Is that right? Because that's what yoga does.
It does. And I think it's so normal for us to be stuck in our head a lot of the time, and to just
Yeah.
remember how the body remembers all of the heartbreak, the struggle, we got the issues in our tissues, and yoga, meaning union and connection, brings that place of harmony within the mind and the body to lift the spirit. And the heart of what yoga is about compassion. So when you can compassionately allow yourself to be with and to move with what's suppressed inside, it can be empowering and healing.
Well, yeah, I would imagine. So I haven't done that much yoga. I need to. I need to hang out with you, Paul. We can do some yoga. I know, and I know about balance. Well, I connect every day with the divine. Now, do you meditate? Are you a meditator?
I do. I meditate in the mornings. Yep.
Me too.
I do. Some days are easier than others. I find different ways of meditation. Usually every morning I will just take a moment and sit. I will also usually go for a walking meditation. I do that. A lot of the times when I kind of say a prayer or connecting to the divine, it could be anything from, use me today, or a lot of the times it could be just help me. It's a way of kind of like surrendering it over to just, take my
higher power.
Guide me.
Hey, we got to go to commercial break. You guys, I'm here today with Paul Denniston. His book is Healing Through Yoga, Transform Loss into Empowerment. They can pick it up at Amazon, I'm sure, right?
You can pick it up in Amazon, your local bookstores, anywhere.
What's your website?
You can go to griefyoga.com, or you can go to healingthroughyoga.com too for the book.
All right. This is Nancy Earl. This is High Road to Humanity, and we will be right back. Hi, this is Nancy Earl. This is High Road to Humanity. I'm here today having a great conversation with Paul Denniston. His book is Healing Through Yoga. He came up with this concept, I'll just say, and then he has in the book, which is so awesome, you guys. Let me back up. This book is really cool because I need to say there are all these different poses in here, you guys. So he gives, his little synopsis, and then there's a meditation kind of, and then there's stuff at the back where you can, look at all his look at this, all these different poses that he does, and it's all him. So I think it's really cool. I just want to mention that before we move forward. But there's branches that you put together to create grief yoga. And the first one is Hatha Yoga, physical posture?
Hatha Yoga.
Hatha Yoga. Okay, so
Hatha Yoga.
Okay.
Yes.
Talk about this. What is that?
Yeah, totally. So Hatha Yoga is meant to hold postures and to breathe. So think of yoga a little bit almost like it's a meditation. It's a moving meditation. Okay. And so Hatha Yoga is meant to strengthen the mind and the body, holding postures and breathing. Okay. And it strengthens the immune system and it deepens the breath. Oh, well, see, I need that because I have low immunity. Okay, that would be good. There you go. Vinyasa, is that right? Vinyasa yoga. So Vinyasa yoga is just where you take the postures and then you start to flow with them. Okay. Being synchronized with the breath. So it's almost like a bit of a yoga dance as you inhale, lift your arms up, exhale down. So it's almost like, think of it a little bit like it's like ballet. Like a ballet, it could be like a yoga dance. It's like a flowing meditation if you want. I think of ballet and I think of the little tutu shoes and stuff. And so I don't think it's necessarily that. I think of it more like a flowing meditation. A flowing meditation. All right. The Kundalini Yoga, that's a spiritual one. Yes. The Kundalini Yoga incorporates mantras. It incorporates kriyas, which are the specific ways to take a specific challenge or struggle, and it's techniques that are synchronized to help for a desired outcome. Give me an example. Give me an example. Like what? Like what? Oh gosh, like you want me to do a technique? Yes. Or you want me to? Well, I don't care. Sure. Yeah. Well, yeah, you want to do a technique for sure. Well, here's one that I love. It's called Sufi Grind. Okay, let's just do one exercise right here.
Okay.
So, from a comfortable seated position, just move a little forward on your chair.
Okay.
And then just start to move your torso around in circles.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like that? Okay.
And breathe. Take a deep inhale and a deep exhale.
What's this do?
Let's go the other way just to find balance.
Let's go.
Hey, I don't want to inhale and a deep exhale. Good. So that's just one technique that's like a part of Kundalini Yoga, but you'll see what's happening there is like you're starting to get synchronized with the breath and you're allowing the spine to begin to move. I think sometimes when we're struggling and
we stiffen up.
Our spine can get really tight. Our breath can get very shallow. So we're deepening the breath and moving the body.
Yeah. Well, no, we stiffen up. That's what we do.
Totally.
You know, everybody gets really stiff. And this is, you know, kind of relax. Well, this is more like a relaxing, it seems like to me. Because yoga, I don't know, you know, it just depends on the different kind of yoga that you do. But I like that you combined all these. The next one, I love this, is let your yoga dance.
Let your yoga dance is cool because what it does is it takes the different chakras within the body and it finds different ways to move with it. Chakras, which are energy wheels, 7 energy wheels within the body, you find ways that can bring a sense of movement and dance within them.
Awesome. Well, and it's good. I always teach the audience to balance their chakras. It's really important. Okay. Laughter yoga.
Laughter yoga is laughter exercises mixed with yoga stretching and breathing. Sometimes people are like, how are you bringing laughter yoga into a grief yoga class? And the reason behind it is first off, yoga teaches us about the importance of balance. And if I'm going to experience loss, I also recognize that happiness is my birthright too. And the laughter is amazing because as it releases endorphins, the feel-good hormones from the brain, it also allows us to breathe deeper, and laughter allows the free flow of emotions to move through. And sometimes it can be a very fine line between laughter and tears. And so laughter is a very healing tool.
They've always said that, you know, that's where that comes from. Laughter is the best medicine. And it really is, because it does release those endorphins. And fake it till you can make it, you guys. Sometimes you just got to fake it.
And you can also like take whatever it is that you're feeling. Take, for instance, sometimes I was feeling a lot of anticipatory grief because of my sister dying, and I couldn't like release the tears. I felt so much like just anger or being upset. And as I was going through like the laughter yoga training, I would be like, okay, so the body can't tell if laughter is real or fake. I'm just going to honor whatever I'm feeling right now. I'm going to laugh. And I would sometimes have moments where I would laugh, just ha, 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 ha.
So you fake it until you make it. Yeah.
It releases it. But it's also like, I'm feeling sad and I can't cry. I'm going to just connect that, you know, my sister is dying, and I'm going to just laugh about that. And it's amazing like how that laughter will quickly shift into tears, where it can give me the release that I needed so I could fully be present with her, having taken care of what I needed to.
How old was she, Paul? Can I ask?
34.
She was young. Now I want to ask you something before we go to the last one, just because I'm curious, because I believe this. Did you kind of develop this with the understanding that she withheld all that to teach other people how to release so they didn't have the same kind of situation? Did that really kind of boost you? I mean, because, you know, when you have, I'm not judging, I'm just talking. That usually happens, you know, you hold that in. My sister died of leukemia and she had held it in. And that's what, you know, and I realized that it was the holding in of the energy. So when you developed this, did you have her in mind, I guess?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's what I thought.
I helped because I mean, she was my best friend growing up. She was, you know, I loved her. And when you witness someone who you love so much go through pain, it's heartbreaking. And there is a sense of like, how do I handle this loss? What can I do? I've been very fascinated about how can you create something from the devastation. And
Right.
so all of this work is really a testament to her life. I always knew that you know, she was someone who wanted to support others, and especially for those who are struggling. So, you know, a majority of the time before I share this and teach this, I say her name at the beginning to welcome her presence in.
Gosh.
And I know that she would want people to not suppress their struggle too, that she would want people to move it through also.
Yeah. I just really felt that that's why you did this, and picked it up a little bit that that's why you did this. Has she been around? She come visit you?
To visit me? Yeah.
Or pick her up? Yeah. She around? Yeah. I'm a psychic. You probably don't know that. So
she shares.
What?
She shares that she's proud of me.
See?
And
isn't that awesome?
When I she reminds me to keep laughing and to keep loving. She reminds me to keep focusing on forgiveness towards people that have hurt me. She's a little bit of my spirit guide.
Yeah. She reminds you to have heart. That's what I pick up. She reminds you to have heart. I love that. That's so wonderful. God bless. That's a really cool thing that you've done. All right. So the last one is restorative yoga. Talk about that.
Yeah, restorative yoga. Restorative yoga is really about finding postures and softening into it. It's really helpful with anxiety. It's a way to surrender and just find a way to soften the body as you gently stretch.
Right. I want to, if it's okay with you, I'm going to read. He does each chapter, you guys. It's really cool. So like the first chapter is awareness, right? And then you give your little synopsis. So I'm just going to read your first one because I think these are cool, by the way. So the first one says, awareness helps us to become present, which we all need to do, to deepen the breath, to quiet the mind, and to feel safe. When we allow ourselves to feel our feelings, we can identify where the pain and struggle live in the body and encourage it to soften through movement and breath. Man, that is exactly what you're doing. That's what you're teaching us.
That is it. That is it. The awareness is really about ways that you can befriend the body, ways that you can tap into your breath, ways that you can gently move the body, and then start to identify where is it that you're holding pain, or where do you feel stuck in your life, in your mind, or in your body? The awareness about that and befriending it is a way, because as we move forward, we're going to take the struggle and the pain and we're going to channel it out.
When we come back from break, I want to talk about that because I want to know how to do that.
You got it.
Okay, you guys, this is Nancy. You're out. This is High Road to Humanity. I'm here today with Paul Denniston. His book is Healing Through Yoga. Here's what it looks like. This is Nancy. You're out. This is High Road to Humanity. We'll be right back. Hi, this is Nancy. You're out. This is High Road to Humanity. I'm here today with Paul Denniston. We're talking about healing through yoga. And Paul was telling me on the break how this is really helpful if you've had a loved one pass, to connect. And I agree with this wholeheartedly. So take it away, Paul.
I think that when a loved one passes, that place of loss can leave us feeling perhaps guilt, like we didn't do enough. It could be anger towards, a family member, to a hospital. It could be anger to the person who passed. I think that there are a lot of suppressed emotions that can happen. And I think that the truth of the matter is that perhaps we're really just wanting to have a positive connection with those who have passed, to help to remember them with more love. But if we keep that pain suppressed within us, it's sometimes hard to find that connection to our loved one. Mm-hmm. So by releasing the pain, it can lift our vibration up, focusing it more on love, on gratitude, on laughter. That lifts the vibration up to where they have a better way of connecting with us.
Right. I had Mark Anthony, the psychic lawyer, on yesterday, and I love how he explains it. It's like a radio station. They're on AM and we're on FM, and they have to come down and we have to go up so that we can hit our frequency so that we can communicate with each other. And that's how that works, because it's all about energy. I also saw you had a Ho'oponopono in here. the prayer, the Hawaiian prayer, which I've been preaching about lately. I've been saying, hey, everybody's got to do this because it works. Did you find that it works as well? Is that why it's in your book, I guess?
I do. And to go back to what even Ho'oponopono means is to make right.
Mm-hmm.
I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And there's something powerful about saying that, but I also wanted to bring in a movement way, bringing it in a way where you could flow with that meditation too, that helped to open up the heart. And so, yeah, so there's a Ho'oponopono flow that I have that's like a kind of a big heart opener as you do the mantra.
Gotcha. All right. Before we went to break, we were talking about, finding these places in our bodies that we're holding, and most of us don't even know that we're holding it. And you were talking about releasing. And so how do we do that? I mean, here I am, a novice on this. How do I know where my energy needs to be released?
I invite you to place your hands on your core.
Okay.
Right on your core. Do
I need to stand up?
You don't have to stand up. I'm just showing you my core.
Okay. I know where the core is. Okay.
First off, I invite you to take 3 inhales through your nose and then exhale out your mouth with sound. I'll demonstrate like this. And then exhale with sound. Good. Again, inhale. Exhale with sound. Okay, great. So this is our core right there. This is where, our solar plexus, our strength. And so this is where we're deepening the breath all the way down and through there. Mm-hmm. So first off, that's the first step. And then to sometimes take the struggle and the pain. Take, for instance, part of the work is empowering. And there's a technique that I do. It's called breaking the chains. And it's really about breaking through wherever it is that you're feeling stuck. I invite students to allow their hands to be right in front of their chest, almost like they were in chains here. Mm-hmm. And you inhale and then push the elbows back and use sound to open the chest.
Oh, I see.
Pushing it back. Good. Just shake it out a little bit. So part of the work in some ways is to empower the person to start to then begin to channel the pain through. Another technique that I could start to guide someone through there is I would invite them to sometimes just bring fists to their chest and to just begin to like punch right out in front of them using equal inhalation and exhalation through the mouth.
Like I'm Rocky.
You're Rocky and you're
yes, there you go. Boom. Oh, okay. That's cool. I like that. But that you're releasing is what you're doing.
Well, then after what you can do then is first you're creating a spark, but then I invite you to inhale and then push one hand out and release it with the hand with a and then fists in, and then the other hand, release it with the other hand. So here, first off, with the punching, you're starting to create a little bit of a spark, but then you're going to start to channel the pain and releasing it out with the hand. That's just one of the ways where you're using what's suppressed as fuel to release.
I love this. Now, do you have videos?
I do. I do.
I'm serious. Well, because I'm into energy. You don't know this about me, but I wrote a book all about energy, and we're energetic beings. And I know this. And I feel like, and I read your book, and I have to tell you, I was so intrigued because I know what it was like to grow up like that. And then you have all these emotions, you don't know what to do with them. And you're right. Then you either drink or you get high or you do whatever to try to suppress them, but nobody ever wants to deal with them. And what you've done is you've taught us how to deal with them through yoga.
This is all about moving energy. This is all about taking the judgmental things that we suppress and moving it out to lift the energy, to lift the vibration. That's all that this is about.
So you're raising our vibration. You're taking us up. That's so fantastic.
When you raise your vibration, you're raising love is a high vibration, but to also recognize that grief is an expression of love. I think that the unresolved grief is the suppressed emotion, but some people think of grief as like a low vibration. And I do recognize that there's something exhausting about it, which is why we're channeling our fire and our power to feel that, but to recognize that grief and love are really part of the same deal. They're part of the same package.
Well, and it teaches people, we're a society that's always been afraid of death. And it's terrible because we shouldn't be. All we're doing is changing our energetic structure to a different energetic structure. That's it. We're just switching it up. We're going to a different dimension, but we've never looked at it like that. And so people act like they're never going to see their loved ones again, and they are. Have you noticed, like, as you're teaching people this, that they're starting to be more connected with a higher vibration and start to realize some of this stuff?
Yeah, I think what happens is people feel like they're afraid that of letting go of the hard emotions, because they feel like that's the way they stay connected with them. If I stay in a place of guilt or anger or pain, then that's how I stay connected with them. And I believe that we can stay connected with them with love. You don't have to stay connected with them in pain. Mm-hmm. And another thing I just want to say with that too is that you said that so many people are afraid of death. Yeah. I think what people are more afraid of is that when they come to their final days, they're afraid that they never fully lived.
I agree with that. That's true. Wow. That's pretty profound. Yeah. Well, now, since you've written the book, how long has it been out now? When did it come out? Because I have an advanced reader.
It comes out January 18th.
Oh, okay. See, I'm like, oh my God, you guys got to get this. They can pre-order though.
They can totally pre-order. If they go to healingthroughyoga.com, since you're a big lover of videos, when you sign up for the book there, you can also then get a free online companion course that will support, using videos that will support the exercises and techniques within the book.
Yeah, I would like that. I do better if I have an instructor. I've got the Peloton, and I like the girl telling me what I got to do and all that good stuff. So the people, so not many people have read this. That's what I was going to ask you.
No, it's so.
Oh my God!
This is my first book, so it's so crazy for me sometimes when I hear people who've actually read it. I'm like, oh wow, cool! You read my book.
Yeah, I really did. You're so funny.
I'm not used to it yet. It's been in my space for like years, so now it's just like releasing my child out into the world. So
it's cool. How long did it take to put this together? Because I mean, you've got all the movements in here. I mean, this took some time.
It's probably been like a 5 to 6 year process.
Yeah.
It kept evolving and changing as I would go through different losses, as I would go through, coming clean and sober from numbing out the pain. When I would go, it was just, and also learning how to, because I kept trying to figure out, because since this is such an experience that people physically experience, I'm like, how do you make it where a person who's reading it at home, that it kind of works for them?
Well,
and
let me tell you why it worked.
Big part.
Yeah, let me tell you why it worked. I don't mean to interrupt you, but why it worked is because you were real and you told your story, and you weren't afraid to say, hey, I partied because I didn't know what to do with my emotions. And you said the truth. I'm sure you love your mom and dad, but they didn't teach you how to use your emotions. We just didn't learn that. How are they? Are they around still, mom and dad?
They are.
What do they think? What do they think?
My mama, when I told her I was becoming a yoga teacher, she was just like, oh my gosh, she's like, I'm not so sure about this. And especially grief yoga. I mean, hello. But when I told her, I'm like, look, I said, Mom, if you want to pray to Jesus the entire time that you do yoga, I said, you are completely welcome to do that. I said, treat it as a place of body prayer. I said, it's supposed to bring connection with the mind and body to lift the spirit. Mm-hmm. So for those people who have that faith and they're a little scared, like yoga might go against their religion, I'm like, please bring whatever your faith and your belief is in, and allow yourself to embody body prayer.
I agree with that. Hey,
once you meet her that way, then they're like, okay, I can do that.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, we're here today with Paul Denniston. The book, you guys, you can pick it up in January or pre-order, is Healing Through Yoga. This is Nancy Yearout. This is High Road to Humanity, and we'll be right back. Hey, this is Nancy Yearout. This is High Road to Humanity. I'm here today with Paul Denniston. We're talking about yoga. We're talking about healing. What you got for me, Paul? What do you want to talk about?
Well, okay, so we went a little bit over awareness and expression about releasing the pain. So the next step in the cycle of compassionate transformation I do in the book is about connection. And connection, I think, is really the healing aspect of the work. And connection can happen within ourselves, connection can happen with others, and connection can happen to spirit. And so the paths that I explore a little bit within connection and these flowing meditations are based on love, grace, and gratitude. So would you like me to kind of share something? Would you like me to read?
Yeah. The audience loves this stuff. Yeah, we all participate.
Come to a comfortable seated position.
Okay.
And place your one hand on your chest.
Okay.
Allow the other hand to hold that.
Okay.
Just take a moment and just first off, breathe and tune into how your heart is feeling today. Recognize if your heart is missing someone. If you're comfortable, I invite you to close your eyes. And if your heart is missing someone, I invite you to picture that person healthy, happy, smiling at you with love. And I invite you to say their name out loud. Ella. Breathe. I invite you to extend your hands forward as if you were holding an empty plate in front of your chest. So just your hands are right in front of your chest, palms facing up.
Okay.
Okay. And if you're comfortable, close your eyes, and I invite you to reflect and remember an experience you had with them.
Okay.
A moment, a time. See something specific about it. And when you have it, I invite you to place your hands on your chest and just say the words, thank you.
Thank you.
Let's do one more. I invite you to just bring your hands out in front of you and perhaps just take a moment and remember a quality about who they were that you will cherish, that you will love. Why did you love them? See it and feel it. And when you have it, bring your hands to your chest and say thank you.
Thank you.
I invite you to bring your hands to prayer right in front of your chest. Now I invite you to just release it. Inhale, lift your arms up over your head, release it, and just say the words, thank you.
Thank you.
And bring your hands down. One more time. Palms together, prayer lifts above your head, and say thank you.
Thank you. Very good. Thank you, Paul. That was nice. That was really cool. So you've been teaching this for a while. How long have you been teaching this?
I started in, I became a yoga teacher in 2011, and I started developing this practice around 2013.
So you've taught it to groups, you've taught it to professionals. Talk a little bit about this.
Yeah, I've taught this practice to thousands of therapists, counselors, and healthcare professionals who use these techniques with their clients. I do trainings for yoga teachers to learn this practice. I have a thing called, grief movement training that therapists and healthcare professionals use. So yeah, it's the thing that I think they're drawn to is that there's there's a sense of being with loss and grief, but there's something that people are drawn to because they know they feel it in their body, and they're like, here's something I can do with my body to help to move with it. They say that sometimes that grief is love with nowhere to go,
Right.
but this is activating your fire and your power to give the grief and the love the space to open and move.
Gotcha. Wow, that was well said. Yeah. Because I think that's what happens. We're back to like people just freeze up, they hold it in, they don't know what to do, and it's continued to be held in, and nobody teaches us how to release. And I think this is wonderful. So the response obviously has been really great from individuals and the professionals that you've taught this, and then they're teaching their patients. Is that what this is?
Yeah,
is that what's going
interesting
on?
because sometimes people come for a specific loss or a specific reason, but then as they start to do this work, and almost like an onion, it's kind of the layers are getting peeled back. They're realizing that, oh my gosh, this is deeper than I thought as far as some of the other losses that are coming up for me, losses of when I was a child, all of these things that have been repressed. And again, the body remembers it. And so we're just giving space to just allow to move through. And really what happens here is it creates a path of hope, to recognize that we're all of these things. We're not just, we have all of these different colors of who we are. We experience love and grief. We experience anger and anxiety, and also peace and laughter, and it's all a part of who we are. And this is really a practice that's not about physical flexibility, but more about emotional liberation.
Yeah, and I think that's wonderful. And I could see this helping people who had PTSD, very much so, release a lot of that, because those are emotions they probably don't know what to do with a lot of times when people have, traumatic things happen in their lives.
Yes, and the reason this practice works is to first off help them to feel safe, help them to feel in their body in a safe way, but also, especially for people in trauma, it is meant to empower them to learn how to, because I think that we need to find that sense of safety, but there's also this need to discharge the release, the trauma in a safe way. We need to have it to move through.
No, that's true. And yeah, no, it's absolutely true. And I just want to say, as you're saying this, and I'm thinking back at your sister, and I think about my own sister, people hold stuff in. And when you do, the body, we're energetic beings, that's where disease sets in. And so it's healthy for people to do this. I mean, how healthy, to release even from childhood, because people, if you talk to anybody, there's always things, well, in my childhood, you always hear people say that. And so we all have that. We really do. So this works for everybody. Is there anything, what has really blown your mind about this process that you've done? Have you seen anything that was just like amazing that you went, whoa?
I remember teaching a workshop, and there's this one sequence that I do that's called a dance prayer. It's where people will witness another person move in their own organic way. And I had been working with a mother who had lost her child. And within the sequence, there was something so graceful and beautiful that when she was moving, she literally brought her hands in front of her, and she just began to cradle the child. It was almost like a spirit child as she was holding it. And there just was something so holy about it. And I think that, this can resemble a child, but it can also mean like sometimes as an ideal parent, maybe we didn't get the ideal parent. And this can also be a way that we hold ourselves, you know, especially when we're struggling and in pain. And sometimes just bringing our hands to opposite arms,
right,
and
holding
give
ourselves
a little bit of a massage can also give us a sense of comfort when we're hurting and in pain.
Wow. Thank you for sharing. Thanks for coming on my show today.
Thank you, Nancy.
I sure had a great conversation. You guys, his book is Healing Through Yoga. And tell everybody, so if they want to pre-order, they go to Amazon, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you can go to Amazon, but I also recognize there's a lot of independent bookstores that are use support too. So if you thumbs up, if you go to healingthroughyoga.com, it gives a list of sometimes the independent bookstores that you can help support. There's Amazon on there too, but that's a great way to find the book. But then it also sets yourself up that if you purchase it, you get the free online companion course that will help support you in the book experience.
I think that's fantastic. Well, I sure appreciate you coming on today. Hey, you guys, we got to get out of here, but don't forget to go to my website, nancyyearout.com. If you want a psychic reading, just go to my website and click on the book button, and you go to my calendar and you can book your date and time. Hey, everybody, we got to get out of here, but thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you next week. Everybody take care and God bless.
Connect the dots and keep the motion. Can achieve your goal. Let's hit the higher road.
Hey, you guys, join me next week on The High Road for more stories filled with wisdom, love, and hope for our future. Have a fabulous week, and know that by staying on the high road, you will make it to your destination. Visit my website, nancyyearout.com, where you can book a private session to learn how to tap into your own abilities. And check out my YouTube channel. It's Nancy Yearout's High Road to Humanity.
You can achieve your goal.